Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Suno Tonight with Saadia Afzaal. We're back with yet another episode of our series, Islam and the Modern World. Americans will head to the polls in November to elect the next US president. The elections will be closely watched around the world. The US voters will also decide the fate of the members of the Congress, who will play a key role in passing laws that affect the working of Washington. The winner will serve a term of 4 years in White House, starting from January 2025. The US presidential elections have become more critical and important because this time Washington is involved in two hot wars, in Ukraine and in Palestine. The fate of future president depends on the policies towards these conflicts. And from the recent week's election campaign, it is evident that both presidential candidates, former US President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris, are working tirelessly to get the support of Jewish lobby to make their way for the White House. President Biden's Gaza policy is a baggage for Kamala Harris, and contesting polls in continuation of Biden's Israel policies are not going well with the Democratic voters. A big question looms on Kamala Harris's election campaign. Where does Harris stand on Israel's war on Gaza, and will she satisfy voters who are upset about the crisis in Gaza? Kamala in her campaign refuses to disown an unpopular war, but she was one of the first members of the administration to call for an immediate ceasefire. She has not supported an arms embargo on Israel. However, there is continued pressure from Democratic voters to take a position, but she remained reluctant to take a clear stance. Kamala is leading the polls, but she still continues to struggle in the key swing state of Michigan, where uncommitted voters are demanding a Gaza ceasefire paired with an arms embargo on Israel. Important question is, what will she lose if she continues with her position? Financial Times poll suggested that there is less downside impact if Gaza policy continues. Democrat who is soft on Israel loses support on the left, but one who takes more critical line wins those voters back without losing votes among moderates. Another survey from YouGov and the Institute of Middle East Understanding showed that every third voter in these three swing states say that they are more likely to vote for the Democratic nominee if they pledge to withhold weapons to Israel, while only 5 to 7% say they would be less likely to do so. Kamala Harris is already in a difficult position. She cannot oppose sitting president's policies. She remained part and parcel of whole of the policy-making process. However, few of the thinkers believe that Vice President can take a different stance, a bolder stance, a stance that gels with party's base, as well as with the youth of America, who at large protested against the genocide of Palestinian population. In the recent months, after continued support of Israel's genocidal policies, a large number of Americans, especially younger generation and Arab American voters, have expressed their support for the Palestinian cause. And those voters are not happy with President Biden's policies. It's a tough call for Kamala, but a large number of voters are waiting to hear her words. On the other hand, former President Donald Trump is hiding behind the Jewish lobby and trying to achieve his next turn in White House on the grounds of Zionist states' complete support. Former president accuses Kamala Harris of always demanding ceasefire and warns Hamas to release hostages before he assumes office. His tone encourages the action of Israel and asserted that Netanyahu knows what he's doing. In recent weeks, Trump remained focused on Biden-Harris administration for the rise of anti-Semitism, criticized Kamala Harris by saying that she is the candidate of the forces who want to destroy Western civilization, but most particularly Israel and Jewish people. And I am the candidate of those who want to defend Western civilization, defend Israel, and defend the United States of America. Trump didn't stop here. He went a step further and said if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are elected, the radical left flag burners and Hamas sympathizers will not just be causing chaos on our streets, they will be running US foreign policy in the White House, and Israel will be gone. Trump's tone reflects and attracts the Jewish community as Trump appeared alongside Dr. Miriam Adelson, the wife of late Jewish billionaire Sheldon Adelson, and she suggested that Trump deserves full support of the entire Jewish people. Before concluding our debate, one point is definitely clear, that both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are two sides of the same coin. Whoever wins in the office will be there to support Israel and their policies. The former President Trump is rallying behind the Israeli lobby to reach the final destination, the White House. But Kamala Harris owes the liability of past 1 year's genocidal actions of Israel. Therefore, she is reluctant to openly support Jewish lobby. Whosoever wins the White House, Israel lobby will rule the United States of America, and Palestine and Middle East will remain in turmoil.